Hey, what's up, everybody? Today we'll be working on somewhat of a chore. It's not much of a chore, but I do need to clear up some of these errors that we've been getting. Really, they're just type errors, so things still work, and that's okay with me, but I don't like TypeScript errors, so I like to get those fixed and work through those. But first, we'll probably start with something a little bit easier, which will be getting our rich text converter to be switched over to the new one that Payload CMS provides. And the reason for that is it is more flexible and it's easier to use. So we'll work on that, and then from there we'll go to correcting our TypeScript errors. So we do have some rich text stuff here, but what we're going to do is we're going to create in our components directory, which actually not even in that one, it's going to be in our up here. So we have a rich text folder already with lexical and upload. We're going to change this. So we will continue using our rich text directory, but I'm going to add a new directory. Just to start off, we're going to have converters in here, and we'll come back to that in just a second. But other than that, just at the top level of our rich text here is we're going to have an index.tsx, and then we can import rich text as we'll do rich text converter from Payload CMS RichText lexical React. And so next is going to be a serialized editor state is what we're looking for from lexical. Yep. All right. And then import. We don't have our converter yet, so we have nothing to import from there. So we will need to create our props first. So we know we're going to have a data prop, which is going to be our actual lexical data. So the JSON that comes from it. So we need that to be our serialized editor state. And then we want this to also have the same types as the div attribute. The div element. So this is going to have the same HTML attributes as the div element. And then we're going to export our function, rich text. And this is why we imported this differently. So rich text converter is up here. Rich text is here. So if we were to not import this the same or as a different name, we see that there's a collision here. So import declaration conflicts with local declaration. We don't want that. So that's why we're pulling this in with an alias. So rich text is going to need props. With props, this part just came in from the autocomplete. Ignore that. And then we're going to take our class name from our props. And then we also are just going to take the rest. All right. And that equals props. And then we're going to return our rich text converter with the rest. And then class name as class name. Oh, extra slash got there to mess everything up for me. Now what we can do is we need to use it somewhere. So we can go, let's start easy with our hero section here. So we'll take a look at this in a second. I'll let the error bug me for a little bit. I do know what to do with this now, so I'm not too worried about it. But right now I just want to get our rich text stuff going here. So let's see what we have. I think it's just this one, right? Let's search and find out. We've got two. Where's the other one? Did I just miss it completely? Oh, it's import. Okay, so we actually do need to import it. We can do it down here. So we'll do our rich text from our components, and then we change nodes to data, and we change all of that to just be subtext. Let's see where I went wrong there. Because we've got rest, class name, we're returning it, it's exported, so all that should be right. And it should just be taking subtext. So this is not as easy of an example as I thought it was going to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to reinstate this one, and we're going to take the content no media. That's going to be an easier example. So now let's do the content no media block. It's right there, blocks, content no media index. All right, so we'll start here. This and type of header section does not equal string. Okay, let's try the type of object instead. Okay, again, I know what's going on with these, but I will come back to them in a second. All right, so we are going to pull in our rich text here from our component, and then we change nodes to data. Type rich text type is not assignable to serialized. So this is a new one. I don't know why I'm getting this error. It's always something, isn't it? So let's go back here. We have serialized editor state, React rich text props class name, rest props, rest class name. So all of this should be correct. All right, well, let's keep working on our rich text. We're going to add some converters because we have our highlight block that's now just gone. So we need to add our highlight converter. So we're going to go to our local host and we'll go to admin login. And before we actually do that, let's do the required converter that I just got an error for. So we come down to our components, go to our converters, and we're going to add a new TypeScript file that we're going to call internal link TypeScript file. And that's going to be JSX again, internal link. And then here we're going to need our import serialized link node from RichText lexical. And we're going to export a const, and this needs to be called internalDocToHref. And it's going to take a link node, which will be a serialized link node. And then we're going to take the value and relation to from it. Link node dot fields dot doc, and we're going to do a type assertion there to make sure that we get a non-null value. Then we're going to take the slug out of, or we're going to make sure that the slug is of a type string. I don't need it to do all of that, but type string, and we're going to take the slug, or the slug out of the value. Okay, interesting. Again, type of value and value slug. We're going to leave that how it is for now. If relation to equals messages, return, it's not even messages that I'm thinking of. It's, I think, pages. So one thing I need to do, let me get up to the most recent version to make sure that none of these errors is from my older version of Payload. And I think I'm on 3.11. Yeah, so let's change that to 3.16.0, replace all, and then our next version is fine. Then we can do pm I, and we'll see if this helps with any of these errors, because I know that they're always putting out changes. Okay, all of that should be done. Okay, does not appear that that fixed any of our errors, but that's okay. That's what we're doing this video for, is we're making sure that we can indeed fix all of these errors and problems. So we've got relation to, should be pages. I'm gonna make sure in our collections, pages. Yes, we have pages, and I believe we have posts. I was hoping for a type hinter with that, but I've got pages and I've got posts, so we're going to return our slug, else if relation to is posts, we will return blog/slug, return slug, which is the same as the pages one. So need to figure out why this is saying property slug does not exist on type string when it, if it equals string. This is why you shouldn't rely on only using your auto thing, the thing that does the auto completion for my code. Like, I would have never have made that mistake, but I didn't look, so I made that mistake. All right, so that's all correct now. Now what we need to do, so it's already exported. We're going to come over to our rich text index here. We're going to add our converters, and we're going to first, I missed a big step. In our converters directory, we need to add an index, which is going to hold our JSX converter, so the main converter. So we're going to, we'll just start with exporting the const JSX converter, and we're going to use JSX converters function. And right now we do want to use a type that we're going to call node types. And so this is going to parse out all of the nodes that come from lexical in our blocks, in our lexical field, regardless. But for right now, we're just going to do none of our blocks. But for now, we just need our default node types to be imported from RichText lexical. Now we can set that equal here to default converters. And then we need another set of parentheses and curly braces where we're going to take those default converters. And then we need to use the link JSX converter, which is going to take our internal doc.toHref. And so this didn't import for some reason. I'm just going to import it from the converters folder, which is at the same level. So just one dot for that. So we're going to take that over to our RichText converter and do converters. And then we're just going to do our JSX converter, which should import from our converters folder. There we go. Which means that this, yes, it gives me a URL. It's down there in the bottom left corner. I'm sure it's going to be very difficult to see. So if you can't see it, oh well. But now it's saying home and that error went away. So that's that one. But again, we lost our highlighter and I want the highlight back. So what we're going to do, and I don't know if this is going to work, so I haven't done this one before, but we're going to create, I guess it's a feature, but really it's going to be converting from a feature. So we're going to create a new TypeScript file. We're going to call this one highlight converter, and we may add this to something else later. But for now, this is going to work just fine. Yeah, so I think what we're going to do is do a text editor, which is something that I have done already where you can customize like even the default formatting, like bold, italic, strike through, all of that stuff, and add the highlighter to it. So let's change the name of this to just be our text converter, just because I know eventually, if not right away, I'll want to change how I'm formatting or how I render formatted data. So we're going to go for that. All right. So first we're going to import our JSX converters. And then I know that we also need our serialized text node. And then here we're going to put in some consts. And actually I'm going to copy and paste this from something else because these are specific to lexical. And so this is from the meta team who created Lexical. So that's where these are all coming from. And it's actually already in the Git repo. So if you did some digging, this node format actually has all of that already. Like here is all of that. And so is highlight is one that I don't have. So I'm going to also steal that for our text converter. I don't need to export it though. And so this must be, I guess, some kind of bitwise comparator. I don't really know. It's a little bit above me, honestly. So I do know, though, that this is going to equal a number. That is going to be what Lexical sees as highlight. So what we're going to do is we're going to do export const text converter because we're going to use this elsewhere. We're going to use our JSX converters and our serialized text node. And then we've got our text option where we've got our nodes, and all of that opens up into this. So we're going to use a let constant to hold our initial text. And so this, if nothing, I need to make sure I did all this right still. Text converter, JSX converters, serialized text node. Yes. Okay. So it's probably just because I haven't returned anything yet. In fact, oh, it's not nodes, it's node. I'm sorry. That's why I'm seeing all this red. All right. So, but yes, this is going to be the default. So if no formatting applies, it's going to be just this text. And so we know that we can just do return text. And then that would fix all of that. But if I were to go over to our JSX converter and add our text converter, I think it's just going to strip all of my formatting. Yeah, so you can see that, oh, the link's still there. Home is not a valid selector. Okay. So I need to fix when this says home to just be the home page. But either way, all of our formatting is gone. So if you do this, you need to make sure that you specify what you want for each of these different formats. So let's do that now, where we are going to start at the top with, we're just going to go through each of these constants, starting from the top. So we know if node dot format, yes, and is bold. And so I'm using a single and. Again, I'm going to speak a little bit out of my realm, but this is, again, a bitwise comparison between these. So what's going to happen is if I go through each of these, then it's not going to overwrite the previous if statement. It's going to say, if this text is bold, bold it, but also if it's italic, italicize it. So as we go through, this will make a little bit more sense. I'm going to see if I can do these on one line. It's very Pythonic of me to try and do this, but I want to see how this works. And we're here to experiment, aren't we? So if I do this, we should get some bold text back. Yep, gusto came back as strong. So now we can duplicate that and do is italic, and we can do emphasized, which now gusto should be both emphasized and strong. Oh, no, just with is. So with is both italicized and bold. Let's do a left and right over here. All right, so now we can do this again for node format and is strike through, and then text is going to be, we'll do a span for this one, and then this we need to do a style. You could do custom CSS or Tailwind or whatever you want in this portion, but I'm just going to do a style to make things easier, not text converter. We need text decoration, and that's going to be line through, and then so we don't have any strike through text, so we can move on from there. Do the is underline, and then we'll do text decoration underline instead, and then we're going to come down and do is code, and then we can do code here. So again, we don't have any code text. Now we can do is subscript, and then I'm just going to do is superscript. I believe this is going to be sub, and this is going to be sup. And then lastly, we can add is highlight. And then here, we can do whatever we want. So I'm going to set what it was previously in our lexical here. So I've got is highlight somewhere down here. I've got class name, classes, accent. So here's a good example of using CSS for this. So we will change this to be span, not a spend. Wow. Span with accent, which should bring back all of our formatting when I save. So now we have underline, we've got our highlight back, and all of this is done. So we're good here with our text converter now.